this one day, but I have been happy with the way basically both sides of the ball, as well as our kicking game has come around and continue to move forward. But like I just told the team in the locker room, from now until we start fall camp, this is when teams grow together the most. When the coaches aren't around, when it's on seniors and upperclassmen leadership, when it's on guys that have been in the trenches to continue to make these guys work. So it's going to be fun to watch them develop during the summer, and excited. We're nowhere where we need to be at certain positions, especially. So it should be a fun team to be around and get back into fall camp.
What positions in particular?
Well, I think on right away that's going to jump out on the offense side to replace the starting quarterback, and the three guys that got the majority of the reps today aren't anywhere where we need them to be for us to be a competitive team in the fall. So they need to continue to move forward. I'm very excited because I think Zach Brown gives us a really three deep at the running back that may be as good as we've had since I've been here. But I think the wide receiver position, obviously we hope Nick can come back and give us something, but Abadera shows, and I think Manessa, and that kind of solidifies that area. We got to have a couple other guys pop in there, but tight end, today we were without 4 or possibly 5 offensive starters, so that the continuity of that group was thrown off a little bit. But I really like the offensive line depth we've been able to develop. And on the back end, on the defense side, I was really worried or concerned about the safety position, but Shelton Johnson, Aaron Henry, and Desmond Southward, I think, are 3 guys that can really give us some ability there that I didn't know was going to be there. So. Well, he does, but there's tight end packages where we let him up. But yeah, he's really excelled and continued to grow all spring. What you saw today was a culmination of kind of what we've seen through the other 14 practices. Manessa's a very talented football player and very gifted athletically.
Fred, you mentioned the depth on the offensive line, but overall, how do you feel about that group relative to last year?
Well, you throw Pete in there, and I thought during the course of the spring, there was a scrimmage 2 Saturdays ago where the offensive line just kind of took over the scrimmage, and we're moving the ball at will. With Ricky sustaining the left tackle position and a right tackle, a surprise for us, maybe not a surprise to him, but Robbie Havenstein has probably played as consistent at that position as anybody over the last several weeks, so it's kind of fun to see a freshman take that over. He's dropped about 40 pounds, believe it, he weighs 350, but he's made his body into what you see out there, and it's pretty good.
But how much of a chance does Kurt Phillips still have to get in?
Kurt has no chance. After the procedure yesterday, he basically his knee didn't heal the way that we projected or he wanted, and he's going to have to go in for another procedure at some point, probably after school's out, and he'll be out for the season.
Is ACL again?
I'm not going to talk specifics, but it's something we'll take away from the season.
Is he for sure not going to play any more football? Or?
No, he's already thinking about what his options. Obviously, petitioned for 6 years. And I haven't even actually had a chance to talk to him since yesterday's surgery. So, amazingly, the resolve that he has, and just his mental toughness and awareness, and it kind of was reassuring to him because I think he overall didn't feel the knee was right where it was at, and it kind of gives him some answers for him to move forward.
Coach, talk a little bit about Aaron Henry and kind of the leadership that you expect him to bring.
Yeah, Aaron, is a great leader for us, not only on the football field, off the field. He's great in the classroom. He's great in the community. He brings a lot of things that make this program special, and has it seems like he's been around here for 20 years. He just keeps showing up. But it's going to be fun to watch him develop into a senior year. He's already, I think, done a nice job with some of those younger safeties, Shelton and Dez, to get them playing the way they are.
You kind of expect him to be more of a playmaker, or?
Well, he's scored a lot of touchdowns already. I think I don't know how many he's had in the kicking game and defensively, but he's one of those guys that just has a knack to make plays. I would love to have seen him come up with that interception over on the far boundary, but Aaron's, his own worst critic, so our hardest critic on himself, but he's fun to be around.
You assess Bud Myers' play?
I saw what you saw. I know that, what I think really affects the quarterback and what we've had the convenience of over the last 2 seasons is receivers, and no matter how good they are or how talented they are, if they're in the same spots on the same time, the rhythm, the throws, the routes, I think that's really going to help John out the more that they can work together in the summer with the guys that are going to be out there. But I don't want us to be careless with the football. That's my one concern, and that's something that we can't win without if we're not being careful with football.
Brett, how concerned are you just from a numbers standpoint of quarterback?
It's really been the same every year. We've always had 3 guys that we kind of felt were in the rotation. The 3 guys we got are going to be the ones that they're gonna be able to get us through the fall season, but, nobody's won a football game yet that's been a starter, so that's always a concern.
Coach, with Tune out for the spring, did Everdares give you what you really needed?
Abby's been lights out leadership. I think getting those younger players, he's really been great with all those guys, and then obviously someone's gonna have to emerge out of that group between Isaiah Williams, Kenzel Doe, Chase Hammond. But I really think Vanessa, Tune, and Abby, those are three quality receivers on the field at a time.
Fred, does this remind you of the 2005 scrimmage at all? Paul's first year as offensive coordinator, the offense really struggled. They went on to be pretty productive that year. Do you see any similarities to that?
I'm getting too old, I can't remember. But
How much does this foretell the success the offense is going to have this year?
not a lick. I mean, one thing I wanted to do was make it competitive, and I want to get a good work day today. I went round and round. Brian got mad at me the other day. I was going to have all the points go for red. I wasn't going to spot the offense, and we needed to have a score. People are coming to see the score, but I wanted to see us work today. I thought we worked. I thought we were playing pretty clean. I know there's a couple pass interference calls on some of the younger players, but for what we felt has been able to make us have success, that happened today.
Did you keep up your quarterback play with the blitz in the past few games?
Chris, yeah, and I told Chris to limit him, so that's how much we limited it, but we've been bringing pressures. I think it's been great for the O-line. It's been good for the quarterbacks to get those reads, and more than anything, our backs in blitz pickup. I think that's an important thing that we just weren't where we need to be a year ago, and hopefully can improve because of that.
Did the two younger quarterbacks show you much today?
Well, it's kind of been a continuation of what I saw all spring. Joel and Joey, Joel Stave and Joey Brennan, both have flashed very well. Both of them have live arms. They, compete. The composure that both of them have for freshmen are pretty good. The guy that, jumps out to me a little bit is Stave because he really should be going to prom tonight. Instead, he was playing in a spring game, graduating school early and coming in, and he's just been impressive the way he handles everything that's been thrown at him.
What do you think of your pass rush from your defensive line?
Well, I think Brennan Kelly, Lewis, and David could give us some really nice rotation here at the defensive end, and then I thought Charlie's done a nice job of getting our guys to convert from run pass really well at the inside position, and that was showing up today and making guys get out of the pocket.
Lewis and David obviously have more experience than Brendan, but based on last year, what do they need to do to help fill that void with block?
Well, JJ, made a lot of plays, and the production numbers are hard to replace, but, I think those three guys might give us more depth than we've had, because last year between Lewis and JJ and David down a little bit more, but he's now, I think, on keel with Lewis, and all three of those guys have had a really nice spring, and I'm excited to bring, some other guys in the mix. Conrad Zagzewski's been very impressive, very explosive, but he can't go quite yet, and then the best pass rusher we might have is Chris Borland, who hopefully he's not going to punt. He's been chomping at the bit. I walked over and I said, you want to punt? He goes, I got no cleats. I go, I'm talking about punting. I don't need you to run a drill. But it was just, try to get up faster.
Could you expand to your analysis of the front seven as a whole today?
Our defense front seven.
Front seven.
I thought they've been active. I thought Hux has done a nice job, of attacking the line of scrimmage more so than we have probably in the past. We played a little bit more of an under front, that has popped up here and there, and then just the pressures, I think it lets our guys play with a little bit more aggressive attitude. And today there's some run-throughs, some nice hits, some hits behind the line of scrimmage that, to me, that's a good indication of our defense. Part of the problem with our offense today was our defense played pretty good.
Do you walk out of today encouraged about your defense, or
Yeah.
any more so than?
I've been, ever since the first day of camp, or first day of spring practice, to where I thought our defense has continued to get better. I know as a coaching staff, I think we got 4 guys that really love to teach the game and fundamentals, and that's been very evident to me as a coach.
You talk a little bit more about Stave and in the spring.
Yeah, Joel, comes in and you don't know, obviously we saw him in camp. He was a kid that wasn't heavily recruited. We were in a recruiting battle that we didn't make any offers, but we knew that Joel was very interested and kind of worked out a deal with him where he comes in and takes advantage of his opportunity. He'll be rewarded with a scholarship here in due time, and he's coming in and taking advantage of every snap, every day. Very quick learner, very intelligent. The first time I kind of got an awareness of his presence, Chancellor Martin invited our entire team and our coaches over to her house for a championship dinner celebration. And my guys show up, and you're always a little nervous. You got 100 football players in the Chancellor's house. They're like, Coach, you've been here? I go, no, I've never been invited either. But they kind of present themselves the right way. They're dressed nice, got the collared shirts. And I thought we were kind of wrapping things up, and Biddy says, "Does anybody know how to play the piano?" And somebody yells, "Stave!" They call him Steve to beat him up a little bit. But they yell him, and Stave sits down at the piano. He's been on campus all of 2 weeks, and proceeds to play, or the Piano Man, or some song, and sings it like it's a gold album. It was unbelievable. And then he just keeps playing. He goes, "Any requests?" And it's just, I'm like, who's this kid? Who's this kid we brought in here? And it's just amazing. He sat there and played the piano for like 15 minutes, taking songs, cracking jokes, and all of our guys are looking around. I was looking around. Just one of those guys that has a little bit of a presence and a little bit of it to him that's hard to replace.
What have you thought of Hengel at fullback, and what's his walk-on speed?
Hengel came to us and really in the fall, I don't think he was even in the 105 to begin with, and then during bowl practice really jumped out. There's a couple practices where I was like, this guy loves to make contact. He's a little more fluid. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Billy Rentmeester when Billy was younger, and catches the ball really nice. He got winded today. He got a lot of reps, because we had been planning on playing Brady, Sherrod, and Hengel at fullback, but Sherrod's got a concussion and Brady's out with a little bit of a stinger, so that put him up there, and he was out there getting, I bet you nobody on the team got more reps than he did.
Speaking of winded, did you expect Nortman to get that much of a
That's
workout?
right. I walked up to Brad, I said, "How you feeling?" He goes, "I'm kind of tired." And I go, "Who do you think?" And I go, "I'm gonna get Borland a shot." And I turned over, that's when I grabbed Borland. Of course, he was like a little kid in a candy store, but, yeah, it was good. I thought Brad punted the ball very well. I know there was one missed opportunity on the pooch, but he's really done a nice job all spring with the pooches.
Welch hit the 2 bombs in the rapid fire, but missed 3 in the team stuff, so what do you make of that?
Well, again, he's got to be able to handle the pressure. He's got to be consistent with where we're at. I think that he's got one of the stronger arms, stronger legs I've been around, but he's got to learn how to, to be accurate with it. And going into a senior year, it's going to be very important for him to do so.
Brett, how much better can a quarterback get between now and the fall, and what kinds of things can they do with you guys not necessarily being able to work with them?
Again, I think the biggest part that I learned, going into the year that Scotty was a starter, he was a third-string guy, so obviously they can get a lot better during the summer. But a lot of it, again, when we get our guys out there, the timing of it, Nick should be cleared to run here at the start of the June program, and we wanted to kind of solidify who our receivers were. I'm glad with the addition of Manessa in that position. So now they can start working on the timing, the routes, the specifics. A lot of that stuff is just turning in. Maybe 2 yards further versus turning in a tight turn where he's turning around and it's ball's right there. So all those things need to get worked out.
Has Brady had stinger issues in the past?
Yeah.
Is there any concern about
No, all the x-rays checked out negative, and, we could have played today, but we just didn't feel it was, I'd rather get him rested and have a great fall.
Llewellyn and any other injury issues
Yeah,
from today?
actually Dallas, I was worried that it was something, but it looks to be something that, if the docs feel what it had to do with his kneecap, so if that comes, if that's all there is, and it should be just something matter of a couple of weeks.
Anybody else?
No,
today?
I don't think so. Really, the only two that would be out for the fall would be Kurt Phillips and Marquise Mason right now.
You excited to have Mike Taylor healthy and finally show?
Yeah, and I think he's really benefited from Hux. Hux is big on block protection and getting off, and Mike has been such a. I remember I got all over him last year during a bowl practice one day because he's really good when he's free, when he's unblocked, or he can kind of finesse his way over. But he needed to really grow with a body on him, someone really blocking him. And I thought Hux has done a nice job in block protection. And Mike's starting to shut off and make some plays, and hopefully take his game to a higher level.
Anything else, Coach?
All right.
All right.